Yes, hi folks, it's Tim, aka Faceless Fat Loss. A serious for the men today. I did one for the women a while back regarding cellulite, and I'm going to do one regarding the prostate for the men today. Now, women have a so-called prostate as well, but that's a whole nother topic that I'm not going to cover this time around. This is regarding the men. Men are seeing so much prostate cancer. The rise of prostate cancer has just been crazy over the past several decades. Not going to really touch on the cancer issue side of it, though, this time. Instead, I'll focus more on the prostatitis type stuff and the BPH, because these are sort of preliminary symptoms to what could be prostate cancer. Along the lines of prostate cancer, we've come far. There's lots of things that can be done now to take care of prostate cancer very effectively. The important thing is to get screened as early as you can. A lot of doctors are still saying don't bother with the PSA test until you're 50 or over. In my opinion, it should be 40 or over. And for the record, I know of a 27-year-old who had to have his prostate removed 5 or 10 years ago due to prostate cancer. So it happens. So I think we need to stay on top of our prostates at a very early age. My gosh, I saw on the internet recently a 17-year-old complaining about prostate issues. He's seen the doctor and it's been established that he does have a prostate issue. So my gosh. BPH, and inflammation of the prostate gland. Here's the normal size of it, about a walnut-sized gland. Here's the inflamed version of it. And the way the doctors find this out is they do a digital rectal exam. Digital just means the finger. Doctor will put his or her finger up in there and will be able to feel that it's clearly larger than it should be. Now, the BPH issue is something that affects a lot of older men. It constricts the urethra so that the bladder cannot empty urine nearly as readily down the urethra. This is happening to younger and younger men. What's also happening is they're getting acute prostatitis, or chronic prostatitis is becoming much more common. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit more about today. One of the theories is that it is caused by nanobacteria, and this is what got me on this video to begin with, because my last video, Magnesium Man, I touched on nanobacteria briefly and I got some people asking me about it. Now, in a 2008 article in a magazine, results of the article ruled out the existence of nanobacteria as living entities. There's a lot of controversy about what nanobacteria is, but nanobacteria is also being tied to kidney stones and arthritic conditions, whereby it's alleged that it is a tiny, tiny, tiny bacteria that forms calcium shells around it, and then they all huddle together in these colonies called biofilms. And the trick is, can you get rid of the biofilm? What can be done to get rid of and eat away at the biofilm to be able to destroy all the bacteria, because they're all huddling together, making it extra hard to get to them. That's the idea. Well, the nanobacteria issue is going to remain controversial. Let's stick to something else that isn't as controversial, that is definitely causing a huge problem and is being hugely underaddressed, and that's the issue of fungal issues, candida and yeast issues, these sorts of things. A lot of the speculation, and I'll go into this topic in a minute, but a lot of the speculation is that leaky gut syndromes and whatnot, autoimmune diseases, could have fungal issues, especially the leaky gut. There could be the candida could be crossing the immunity barrier there and going systemic. Lots of times men can have their semen analyzed when they have prostatitis issues and find that there's no bacteria present, yet they're in pain and discomfort, or they can't pee. Or they'll have their semen tested for fungal issues, and yet there's no fungal issue in the semen itself. Yet they could have a blood test showing a candida issue throughout the body, systemically. Now, what's frustrating is this is too understudied. The doctors out there are not focusing on fungal issues at all. Now, here's the problem. When we use antibiotics and overuse antibiotics, what happens? We, of course, will have a yeast overgrowth, candida overgrowth situation in our body, contributing to all sorts of fungal issues. Now, we had all these amazing antibiotics developed in the 1930s, but what's happened? They've been overused and abused, terribly so, resulting in all sorts of fungal issues. Ladies, you know out there, the yeast infection issues with your vagina, this is becoming very, very common. Here's another interesting catch. There's a doctor over in Italy who is tying countless forms of cancer to, you guessed it, fungal issues. I have spoken to countless doctors who don't place hardly any importance at all on the fungal issue. They instead want to go straight for bacterial issues or viral issues only and forget about the fungal issue. Now, if you overuse antibiotics, what are you going to get? Fungal issues galore, as I've mentioned. So, here's the gig. If you have an acute form of prostatitis and you take an antibiotic and it's working, finish the whole course. I'm not this throw the baby out with the bathwater thing, and I hate that expression. I hate using it, but you get to make my point, you understand what I'm saying. If an antibiotic works, use it, but they should only be used as a very last resort. And if it does work, use the whole darn subscription. It should be about 2 weeks worth. Even if the pain subsides after 3, 4, 5 days, don't stop taking it. Why? Because you need to, if it's working, it's killing off the bacteria that's causing you the problem. You don't want any of that bacteria left around to fester in that prostate and develop another problem, because next time around, that antibiotic may not work, or it may not work nearly as well, and you'll have to start combining antibiotics, and you'll have yourself a whole new mess on your hands. So use the whole prescription. But if it's not working, or it makes it worse and develops into a chronic prostatitis type situation, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with a form of inflammation. Anti-inflammatories come to mind. The omega-3s, the systemic enzymes. These things should be used to try to get the inflammation down. Now, here's another device that's used often. I know a lot of men are going to have a problem with this. I understand. But it helps. It works tremendously. A lot of men have had tremendous relief using this product here to not only get the blood, you put it up into your anus and you use your sphincter down here to squeeze it, and that's all you're doing. The top of this is massaging the back of the prostate, and as it does that, blood flow is increased, getting the gunk out of there if there's an infection going on, helping to get the gunk out, relieving the pain. Very often, lots of men use this product, and as soon as it reaches up in here, they feel it, they feel the pain squarely. You use it more and more, and it will reduce that pain tremendously and have the added benefit of getting rid of BPH, or reducing the symptoms tremendously. Why go on one of these drugs we see advertised on TV to take care of BPH when you'll become addicted to that drug? As soon as you stop taking the drug, your prostate will inflame again. What's the point? Let's do natural means to get ourselves healthy instead. So this is something that's been hugely helpful for people, for men, along with the natural anti-inflammatories. And I'll include more details and cover this topic in more detail in the future. It's an important one, and I hope this information is helpful. If you're dealing with a chronic prostatitis, email me directly, and I have some solutions that can help you out a great deal, that have been very effective for a great many men to help relieve the symptoms at the very least. Thanks so much for watching. Love, happiness, health, and peace.